This is the Plain English Real Estate Show with your host, Rowena Patton, a show that focuses on the real estate market in terms you can easily understand. Call Rowena now. The number is 240-9962 or 1-800-570-9962. Now here's the English girl in the mountains, the agent that I would trust, Rowena Patton.
Good morning and welcome to the show. This is Ro, and we are on show 632, Randy.
Wow.
How have you liked spending 632 Saturdays with me?
That is amazing.
That's a lot. We've been hanging out since 2011.
Okay.
Here we are, talking about real estate, talking about local businesses, talking about things going on in the market, 10 o'clock every Saturday. And what are we talking about today? Well, I wanted to give you, we are in a shifting market right now, which is great news if you're buying something. However, most of you who are buying something are selling something too, so it all kind of smooths out along the way. And it really depends on what are you doing? You know, it depends on your strategy. Who are you? How old are you? Where are you going? It's sort of like financial planning. So we look at your particular scenario, and I've got a few to share with you today, because some of these that you'll empathize with, or some of them you'll think, oh, that's what we're doing, so that applies to us. So I'll give you a few different scenarios and how that looks like with the shifting market. Of course, many of you know about the shifting market. I've been talking about it on here for a long time. Good old Clément Jouglar, the French economist in 1860, outlined the economic cycle of 7 to 11 years. So if you're on social media and you see all these people going, oh, yeah, it'll all be all right in the spring, it'll be just fine. Well, first of all, what does all right mean? Because if you're a buyer, you'd really like to see house prices 30% lower, right? So what is all right to whom?
Compared to what?
Yeah, compared to what? Yes, exactly. So it's not linear in that sense. It depends who you are, how old you are, what's your time scale, what are you looking to do? If it's simply a case of selling your home, well, how old are you? Is it something where you could hold out? Are you concerned about the prices dropping? Does it really matter? That may sound strange, but for some people it doesn't. You may have lots of money in the bank. Your home may be the absolute home that you want forever. You may be keeping it for your kids, whatever it is. You may have reasons that are much more important to you than money, and that's fine. It depends on who you are. So let's start with Gavin and Christine. So I've changed names to protect everybody's privacy, of course. Gavin and Christine, they're in the mid-40s. They have 2 children, 11 and 15. They want to give their children a different environment out of South Florida. I moved up from South Florida, I understand. I loved it down there at the time, and then I got too old because it all became lots of oiled people and
Jimmy Buffett.
Not many clothes.
All those tourists.
Well, Jimmy Buffett's more south, right? So in Miami, it's all beautiful oiled people with perfect bodies and in the 23, you know, and thinking that they've gained a pound.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, you know, I could imagine that when Gavin and Christine, certainly, let me just talk about their story rather than giving my commentary, want to get those kids out of there into the mountains. They're actually looking for a Christian school here. And they're also, right now, they're buying a second home. And they want to come up for a few years while the kids are still young enough because, oh my gosh, that 15-year-old's going to be off with their friends very soon. So they want to capture those last few years. We have a big shout out to Gavin this morning, who is 15 at home. Gavin's 15, so I get it. You know, at this point, it's all about how can we spend more time. It's like, oh, it'll be gone soon, you know. So
very soon. How
can we find activities and things that we all do together? So I can understand Gavin and Christine wanting to. The son is 15, actually, wanting to, you know, do things in the mountains, zip lining and all that kind of thing, while they still can. And he's, you know, not off to college and all that good stuff. So they're originally from New York, which is very, very common here. We have so many New Yorkers. I know you listen around the country, so all you New Yorkers that used to be New Yorker, well, I guess once a New Yorker, always a New Yorker, but now you're here or you're in Florida or wherever you are. Hi to the New Yorkers this morning. So What we're doing is we are selling their house down there. So we're doing a listing storyboard for free down there. We work with agents anywhere in the country, and we help them to market the property somewhere else. And the agent there does a walking tour video, and we interview Gavin and Christine. It's all electronic these days, of course, although we will do it on the phone if you get stuck. And Gavin and Christine write out everything about their property. Listing storyboards are a very effective marketing tool, so we can help them there as well. And then we're looking for a home here. Now, let's apply that to the shift. So, and anyone can get this. Go to mountainhomehunt.com, mountainhomehunt.com. Click on contact. There's a little contact button there. Just type, send me the shift diagram. Or Clement Juglar. I'm sure you'll remember how to spell that one. And I'll send it to you so you can actually physically see it. You can also go to All Star Powerhouse Real Estate on Facebook. It's posted there. But yeah, if you want an actual copy, or if, of course, we'll just send it to you. So Gavin and Christine are purchasing now. 2022, the end of last year, we crested in terms of prices. And I know from the particular area they are in South Florida, they crested there too. So in other words, they're selling a house and the price is reducing. Well, okay, but the price is reducing here too. So probably doesn't make that much difference. What they could have done is actually sold their house there a few months ago when it was still at the peak, and then done a thing called sell a possession after closing and put their money in the pocket, then waited for them to drop just a little bit here. And there's a limit on how long you can do it. Well, there actually isn't a limit technically. However, most people would accept the fact that it's going to take about 6 weeks once you go into contract to get the cash in your pocket and close. And many buyers will allow you to stay in the house after that for a month or 2 months or 3 months. So that would have given them a little pocket there, but they chose not to do that. I understand why. Because, they have other personal things going on that had them not do that. But therefore, the whole shift isn't going to affect them that much. It may or may not affect them because of the interest rate, although interest rates have just come down a little bit. So that actually may work in their favor. When we don't have a roaring interest rate that's going up every week, which, we saw for a while there, then maybe it doesn't make that much difference. And when they're at the height they are now, maybe they could come down a little bit. So overall, it's really not made much difference to Gavin and Christine. And just know people are saying things like, oh, there's a housing crash and all this stuff is happening. It's just normal. It's 7 to 11 years. The vast majority of economists are saying it. Some of them are saying it's going to be a harder hit recession than we were expecting. And, hey, you just got to do the research for yourself. Nouriel Roubini, who is the guy that was very accurate about the 2008 shift. You probably remember that was the last time around. And housing, by the way, follows the normal economic cycle. It's not unusual. He's the guy who is saying we are going to be harder hit than some people are expecting this time around. But who are some people? Who? So the main thing to remember is 7 to 11 years, which means at least technically the trough, where it goes down all the way to the bottom, is 3.5 to 5.5 years. So that's where the timing comes in. So let's look at the other end of the extreme. For example, we've got Rick. So Rick's in his 70s. You'd never know it in a million years. This guy is so fit. Shout out to Rick if you're listening. And he came to us recently and wanted to move back. He has an elderly mother. He's 70 years old. His mum was in her 90s. He wants to go to Florida to take care of her. And in her final days, it's probably her final 20 years. So it'll be interesting. So Rick will be having fun down there in Florida. And he has a small, very well-kept home that it was a double wide. And it was 24 years old, I believe. And his point was, shall I keep it and rent it out? So here's the thing. Rick is 70. And he's moving to another state. And he's thinking, houses always go up. Sometimes they do. When it's a manufactured home, sometimes they don't. because especially when they're older, they become more and more hard to finance when it's a mobile home. And of course, mobile homes tend to depreciate rather than appreciate. The land that it sits on tends to appreciate, although in the mountains that you'd be hard-pressed to even know that, given we're selling manufactured homes for $300,000-$400,000 sometimes. It's crazy. Oh, you can certainly find them for $3. Randy's eyeballs are about to just pop out of his head.
My gosh.
Yeah, we can find plenty for that. However, so back to Rick, he's 70 years old. So we're at 2023, we've already crested. We're going into recession, coming back. The shortest time to be at the peak of prices again, statistically at least, since 1860, will be 7 years. So Rick then would be 77. Does he want to be, and this is how I posed it to him. So you've almost always got three choices. There are some, you can go down rabbit holes off these three choices. One is hold the home. Because if you hold it and rent it out, then, in 7 to 11 years' time, it will probably be worth more. Home prices rise 2 to 5% per year over the long term. So it'll probably be worth more. Does Rick want to do that when he's 70 and he's in a different state? I mean, what do you think, Randy? You're not a real estate professional or a financial advisor, but what do you think? 70 years old, he's going to his mom in Florida. So if you were sitting there with Rick and you're his friend and you just lay people and I say, hey, hold it. So we'll help you find a property management company. There will be a few headaches along the way. There always are when you're renting something. Not always, but most of the time.
I think your description of his health has a lot of impact on this. This is a very active 70-year-old, still moving, going, taking care of other people. Maybe that's a real option, a real viable option for him.
Yeah. I think the question is, and that was the question I posed to him, and I said, Rick, what would you do with the money? He's like, I'm 70 years old. I'd go on a cruise. I'd have a good time. I'd start spending my money. I said, do you have anybody to leave your money to? And he's like, no, and even if I did, I don't believe in that. I believe that, I'll put something aside. However, I want to enjoy my money while I still can. I'm 70. I'm in good health right now, and I'm fit and able. And I want to spend some of that money and have a good time.
Then decision made.
Right. So he owned it outright, so he could put about $220,000 in his pocket. And that could be to rent something down there. He was actually going to move into his mum's. His mum has a big house down there. So he was going to move in with his mum so he'd have no outgoings and have a whole bunch of money. So now, if he rented it, obviously he'd have an income from it. But the income would probably be, so it's a mobile home, I don't know, $1,500 a month. So it's income, but not enough to live on.
It's maintenance too.
And it's maintenance, and you've got all those things to think about. So, but there's a choice, right? And then that's why it's so important to know who Rick is, his health. That was a very good call there. In fact, he's going to his mom's house. Or he could just stay in it, but he wants to get down to his mom. She's 90 years old. He doesn't have that 3.5 to 5.5 years or 7 to 11 years to wait it out. So the other option is to sell it now.
Sell it and go.
And the issue is right now is that because we've already crested, we are going into that recessionary period, which means that many people, even last month, saw a 1% drop in their homes. And we expect that to continue. Most economists are saying 15 to 30%. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. It's a very wide berth. But they expect, so if you see a $500,000 home, that's $5,000 a month. You start seeing, that $5,000 drop every month, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Now, that's why it's so important. If you are in that position where, I really don't want to wait it out 7 to 11 years, I don't want to rent out my house, because you could also rent it out. If you're looking to move, maybe get into a single level home or a condo or a smaller home or a home somewhere else, or to be with parents, or whatever the scenario is, you could rent it out. And we'll help you with that too. It all depends on who you are and what you're doing. That's all it's about. So if you do decide you want to sell it now, we need to sell it now. Not in 6 months, not in 3 months. We need to at least come and take a look at it. 828-333-4483. I will come out with my listing partner, Heather. You've all heard her on the radio. She's at the gym this morning. Hope you're working hard at the gym, Heather. And, we'll take a look at least. And many of you have projects that you want to do. So we'll let you know whether we think those are worthwhile or not.
There, as you've outlined, there is a sense of urgency about this.
Yeah, there really is. So the urgency is not just that your price is dropping. It's that people will get a little bit more scared over time. It's just normal. Oh, is it the right time to buy? Sure. When's the bottom of the... Everybody wants to time the bottom of the market,
Yeah.
Well, the problem is you're usually selling your house as well. So, it's a seesaw.
It's a seesaw. That's a good description.
It goes up, down the other side, up one side, down the other side. Now, if you're renting, it's a whole different thing. But even there, you're paying out with rent every month. And over the long term, 7 to 11 years, I don't know how long term that is, but it's not 6 months, that's for sure. Long term, houses go up 2 to 5%, sometimes even more a year. So, if you're thinking about buying something and not moving for 7 to 11 years, who cares, honestly? Your house is going to be worth more.
Exactly.
The people who get hit are the people who buy high. Well, that's the last 3 or 4 years. It's on the it's called the expansion phase. You have recession, then trough at the bottom, and then expansion on the way up. Those are the people who get hit when they overextend themselves. There's a lot of craziness the last 2 or 3 years here where people were outbidding other buyers, paying too much for the home. And, if somebody gets into trouble, they lose their job. There's a lot of job cuts going on right now. Maybe they're working for Amazon and working remotely or something like that. I think they're cutting tens of thousands of jobs at Amazon, which is amazing. Across the board, a lot of the big corporations are cutting jobs. Then, there may be a short-term blip there, which is why the financial advisors always tell you to put that 3 to 6 months away. But how many of us do? A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. So, it's great if you've done that. If you haven't, those are the people, and we'll start seeing foreclosures and short sales, as sad as that is. This is what's going to happen. There's already more foreclosures and short sales coming up. So, that's just what happens. Is it going to be a catastrophe? And, well, it will be, obviously, if you're the one that's affected by that, right? It feels awful. However, are we going to go into some, crashing downward spiral where everything goes into hell in a handbasket? No, this is normal, guys. It's called an economic cycle. It's 7 to 11 years. Before we go to the break, let's do one more scenario on here. So that was Rick. He was 70. We've done Gavin and Christine, who are in their mid-40s. Let's have a look. How about... Yeah, this is a big one. So Sam and Cindy live between 2 homes. Again, very common in the mountains. They spend only about 10 to 15% of their time now in the mountains. It's 30 years old. They bought it new, which seems like a really long time ago, but that's
1995,
1993, somewhere around there. Early 90s. But they're only spending 15% in their home now. It's 30 years old, so they've got lots of stuff. They've got another home in Beaufort, South Carolina, and Sam is still working. Cindy is retired in Beaufort already. Sam comes up here because he's still working here and there. He has a consulting business and still working here and there. But they're really ready just to move it all in one place. It was fun when they were a bit younger. They were probably mid-20s when they bought the other home originally, probably 30, something like that. And now they're just ready to pull it all back together and settle back down. And they have so much stuff. They've been procrastinating for years because it's full of stuff. It's interesting. So it gets very exciting when you buy your second home, and maybe one parent dies, or I don't know, kid moves off to college. All that stuff goes into your mountain home.
Put it over there. Put it up there.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yes, I do. Put it up there. Store it over there.
Grandma's china.
Put it up there. Yeah.
Grandma's china, we can't get rid of it. It's all cracked and chipped. But gosh, it was worth a lot of money in the day. And Grandma loved that stuff and got it out every Sunday. Meanwhile, Grandma was up there saying, "You idiots, go and get rid of all that nonsense."
Eat out of paper plates.
Yeah, what the heck are you doing with all that chip crap? I'd have got rid of it years ago, says Grandma up in heaven. Meanwhile, you're all clinging onto it. But no, you take it to your mountain home. And now your mountain home is full of all your kids' toys.
You're so right. You're so right.
And it's full of stuff.
Old
Things.
stuff that hadn't been seen or used in years.
So Sam and Cindy, and there's lots of Sam and Cindys out there. I may have been Cindy at one point, actually, some years ago, a decade ago, clearing out all that stuff. And it happens for different reasons. Many, and I'm not talking Hoarderville. I'm talking just a lot of stuff, collected over the years.
Right.
And it's like, oh my gosh, how can we possibly step out of this? And then you procrastinate. But let me tell you, if we procrastinate any longer, what that might cost. So their home right now, I'm just looking at values on it, actually. Their home right now is somewhere around $650, right? So when we look at $650,000. So $650,000, we're at 2023, we have crested, and the crest starts at the top. Although we're seeing some little odd blimps here right now where some people are coming in with money, often cash, and they're buying homes at the high end. But we see these blimps over time, and I will keep looking at those for you. And we'll look. I can't just give you these broad brush, it happens here at the top or here down the bottom, because it depends where you are. You may be in Lake Lore. You may be in Waynesville. You may be in Jupiter. You may be in Black Mountain. You may be in Marion. You may be downtown Asheville. You may be Hendersonville. You may be Burnsville. All these markets, even within Asheville or even within Burnsville.
All different.
It's all different. It all acts very different. So I look at it exactly for you and what's going on exactly around you. So let's look for Sam and Cindy, who it doesn't even need to be a second home, honestly. There's a lot of people out there right now, a lot of boomers out there who have been procrastinating. Probably for the last 10 years. Probably since the last crash, actually. In fact, 2008 happened. They're like, oh, gosh. And these are people in their late 40s, mid-50s at this point. Oh, gosh, we can't have this happen when we retire. And guess what? They're still in the house. We've got to make sure we get out of this house before the next crash. And here we are, and it's 2023. Is that you at home? Is it you? Call in and tell me if this is your story, 240-9962, 828-240-9962. If you are thinking about how do you get rid of all that stuff, or you've got a real estate question, same thing, 800-570-9962. Give us a call. I want to hear your questions or thoughts, or maybe you're an amazing organizer that can help us with this. I'd like to hear that too. Any tips or tricks how you got out of your home and just, got rid of all this stuff. So talking to them at 650, let's say we go down, no one's expecting it to be as small as 10%. So that 10% drop for the house that they only use 10 to 15% of the time and they're ready to be out of is $65,000. What could you do with $65,000, Randy?
Oh, that'd clear up everything.
Yeah. Well, the amount of equity they've got in their home, do you think, let's get crazy here. What if they took $5,000 and had people come in and clear it all out? You know what's funny, though? It's never about the money. It's about, but it's Grandma's china.
The stuff.
It's my kids.
It's my baby.
It's my babies.
When she was 2.
Yeah, and then when you go to your baby and you say, hey, you've got 2 weeks, come get this. Like,
I've been
get
there.
What?
I don't want that stuff, Dad. Get rid of it.
Was that painful for you, Randy, with your daughter?
No, it was just, I was so totally shocked because I've dragged that stuff around for 20 years in different houses that I've moved to. And I always thought I'll preserve this for her one of these days.
Yeah.
And she don't want that stuff.
What kind of stuff?
Oh, baby toys and mainly toys from baby years.
Maybe one special one,
I did give it to her here a couple of years ago, and I said, I'm done with that. I'm not moving that stuff anymore. It's up in the attic. You're here for a while. Go. And she did. she took care of it, and she didn't. I think she kept one or two.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's out of my attic. That's no longer an issue of
gosh.
mine. Yes.
You know, Heather talks about this with her daughters because they were very athletic and they had all these trophies. And I think she said she took the medals off.
That was smart.
They picked them all off.
Very smart.
And kept them out. Now, do they ever look at the medals? But at least medals don't take up a lot of room.
Exactly.
Those trophies, oh my gosh. Those big boxes of all the... You've seen the box. Well, I go into houses where usually someone's passed away and there's this gigantic box.
I used to own a trophy store in Fletcher.
Yeah.
And just about every Monday morning I'd come to work and there'd be that box sitting outside my front door of someone who'd been cleaning out those trophies over the weekend.
Could you actually use them again?
You can use parts and
Parts
pieces.
of it, yes. Yeah, that makes sense. Like Lego or...
Right,
What do you call Meccano erector sets? Is that what you call it?
I don't know.
It's bits of metal and screws and things.
Yeah.
It's called now I've forgotten. I left the UK too long ago. So maybe that's our trivia prize for the day, 240-9962. We need to get the team in more often again. It's because it's the winter and no one comes on the show with me now because they always did the trivia.
Yeah, get them back in here.
Yeah, we need to do our trivia back.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of fun. So $65,000 drop. I mean, I don't know. Most people don't want to lose that money. And I know it's not just about money, but this is where to make the hard decisions and say, we're going to take a week off work. And we're going to make it fun. And we're going to go to breakfast or go to the gym or whatever it is that you do. Have breakfast if you don't normally have breakfast.
Bring a dumpster in here.
Get a dumpster, exactly.
Yeah.
Get a dumpster and, get organised for it. Read a book. I don't know. You really don't need to do any of that. Just get some big tubs and have a keep pile. And what you'll find is you get to your keep pile and you get rid of everything else. And then you go back through your keep pile.
And reduce it by half, probably, yeah.
And guys, it's a great time to do it because we're coming up to spring here. You can get rid of all those clothes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter even if you're not going to move. But I've been through it. It feels so much better.
So have I.
In fact, I'm about to go through it again.
I've got a couple of closets I'm targeting. Yeah.
Yeah. It's too much.
Yeah.
And the makeup, I went through the makeup. It's so funny. Randy the other day, he's like, "You moving out or something?" Like, what? He said, "Well, what are those big tubs on them?" I had to pull everything out of the makeup drawer because come on, ladies, you know this. You go to the drugstore, you find some, amazing moisturizer that's going to make you look 20 years younger. And you buy it, and then over time, that drawer gets really big again. And usually it's stuff that's been in there way too long.
Yeah.
So, it's that, and it's the clothes, that piece that I thought I'd wear that would be spectacular, that I've never worn.
I'm the same way with electronic gear and cords and patch cords and that. I got a closet full of that stuff.
Yes, and half of those cords... it's the USB-C and the USB-A, and they don't even work anymore.
It's true, but I'm telling you, the day you throw one away, you're going to need it next week.
It's awful, and I've got a phone holder in my car that takes the mini USB, and you never think about they don't sell those anymore because it's all USB-C. It's the oval one,
right? Which
is great and goes upside, downside. You don't have to look which way up it is. And the problem is that the thing in my car broke, and now I guess I can order it or something, but I can't find one for love of money. Now, somewhere...
It's in my closet,
exactly,
I promise.
Exactly.
Yeah, I promise it's in those boxes. It's all tangled up, and it's a rat's nest of wires, but it's in that box.
It's in there.
Yeah.
I actually keep a big tub that when it's electrical, I just throw it in there.
Exactly.
And when you're clearing out, that's a good tip. Like, don't go through it too carefully. Just throw it in a big box. And then, because you can take that tub in... at night time, out of the garage, and sit down with your pizza and just go through one tub then, hone in on it. Don't get too delicate with it. But oh my gosh, it feels really good when you do it.
Yeah.
And you're just putting it off. And guys, 10% is $6. So, these are clients that I'm protecting here. This is Sam and Cindy. So what they could do is hold it. Remember, let's just do a recap of Sam and Cindy again. They're living between two homes, which has been great for them since their 30s, right? They spend 10 to 15%. One of them is retired, 10 to 15% in the home. It's 30 years old, so it actually needs a little bit of maintenance. And they may be ready to give it up. Well, here's the issue, right? One is mid-50s and one is early 60s. So early 60s means early 70s at the next peak. Do you want to be moving then and going through all that crud in the garage in your 70s and mid-60s? Or do you want to do it now and get all that behind you and pocket that money and move on? Get that, they're sitting in Beaufort worrying about this house in the mountains. Hey, and it's that ongoing. I want you to all think about, whether it's houses or not, those ongoing conversations that you keep having. Our life is short. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Very
you
true.
never know.
Very true.
So you're having these ongoing conversations like, honey, we need to remodel the kitchen. You've been saying that for 14 years. Right, so have a conversation. Is it money? Do you need a home equity line to do that? Do you need a great granite store? I got all those for you, by the way. I got all the contractors for you. Anybody that needs a contractor, painter, plumber, electrician, you name it, I have the list for you. What we do is I take, all you have to do is go to mountainhomehunt.com, mountainhomehunt.com. Click on contact. Hey, you want a value on your home? You want me to come and take a look? You don't want to call us? Fine. Go mountainhomehunt.com. The phone number's there too. Click on contact, type in whatever it is you want. You want a contractor to do your kitchen, bathroom, finish up some things before you sell your home, whatever it is. Mountainhomehunt.com. Click on contact, put it in there. We'll send you out the contractors. We'll come see you. We'll answer your questions, whatever it is that you've got going on there. So here's what they came down to. Sam and Cindy are clearing it all out now. Honestly, I wish, and I'm Sam and Cindy, if you're listening, it's not your real names. You know who you are. They know that I wanted them to do it 6 months ago. It would have been a fast sale. It probably would have bid up. So we're probably 25 down right now. Not that big a deal. It's a $650,000 house. They can move on. They can clear out. They're not going to. I bet they don't take any of that stuff out of the house.
I bet you're right.
It is Airbnb-able, so they can sell it turnkey with everything in it if they want to. And I can advise you on that as well. Can you or can you not Airbnb it, VRBO it? Because when we put those magic words on the listing, that makes it more valuable. Because a lot of people want that. They want a second home that they can make income out of. So all your stuff and things that you're procrastinating about and having secret anxiety about, you may not even have to sell it, other than doing a clear out. However, so when I said Sam and Cindy, here's the deal. If we go down 30%, which some economists are predicting, we went down over 30% last time around. Everybody said it wouldn't happen in the mountains. We're special. Everybody wants the mountains, blah, 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 blah. Listen, I've been here for 27 years. I know the mountains are special. I've lived in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Miami Beach, Black Mountain, Asheville, West Asheville, now Hendersonville, Mills River. I know it's special here. I'm here. I get it. And our prices still go down. The specialness is what creates the overinflated prices in the first place. That's the problem. So if we went down 30%, are you ready for this? $195,000.
On the $650,000 mountain home?
Yeah.
Wow.
So 65 times 3, 6, 12, 18, 5, 10, 15. Yeah. $195,000.
That's serious.
Well, $195,000 could buy you a condo.
Exactly.
Or one of the most expensive cars possible. Or,
yeah.
I don't know, an investment in a jet. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, that was finally what I had them say. They're like, oh, it's not going to go down that much. I'm like, well, it may not. I hope it doesn't. And, for your sakes, Sam and Cindy, I hope it doesn't. However, it may. And even at 10%, 65, are you willing to gamble that? Because it's normal. An economic cycle goes down and then it goes back up. And it's not 6 months. It's 7 to 11 years. If I have to see another Instagram agent going, oh, be fine in the spring, or everything's great, or this denial, this constant denial that's going on, I just don't understand it. It's like real estate agents in school should have basic economics 101. It should be a required part of the course. Because even though we're not financial advisors and we're not licensed in that, if you don't understand the financial cycle, the economic cycle, the financial cycle, I personally think you're doing clients a huge disservice, because this is a massive asset that you have. And if I can't say to you in simplicity that should it go down 30%, you're going to lose, and do the math in my head, at $195,000, that's a big deal. If I'm just going to sit there and tell you, oh, don't worry, houses always go up, that's a problem.
That is, it is amazing. I always thought of realtors, you list your, I want to sell my house. Okay, call a realtor. They come, they measure, they look, they estimate, and they put it on the market, and that's it. Never talk about any of these issues, these things, these behind-the-scenes things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So important until I met you, and I understand that now real estate is different. There are lots of options.
Well, there are lots of options, and I want to help you with that. mountainhomehunt.com, mountainhomehunt.com. Click on contact on there. Just pose your question. If you want it to be private, no problem. I will see it later on. I will give you a call back on my private cell, and I'll talk you through it. If it's better for you to hold it for the price, depending on who you are and your age, I'll just ask you the questions. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I will ask you the right questions so that you can self-discover. Exactly what I did with Sam and Cindy. When they go to bed that night and they say, well, honey, okay, so, low tolerance, $65,000. Are we okay at $65,000? They're mid-50s and early 60s. They don't want to lose $65,000.
Of course not.
Even so, there's a pain threshold, right? So their pain threshold was that 10%. They don't want to lose that $65,000. That's what had them take a week off and come and go through all their goodies, because to them that $65,000 was worth it.
Of course.
And guess what? $195,000. Like who would want to lose that?
No.
And we'll probably get that back and even more in 7 to 11 years' time.
10 years, yeah.
The problem is at 58, then we're gonna be let's say it's 10 years to make the math easy. We're going to be 68. At 64, we're going to be 74. So we're going to be a 68 and a 74-year-old now selling that house and going through all that stuff.
And in that 10-year period of time, it's going to be a lot of taxes and maintenance and insurance and yada, yada,
Correct.
yada.
And they're not using it very often. So now they're going to release something like $400,000 to $500,000. They're a married couple, so they can take $450,000 tax-free. So they're going to be able to take that tax-free.
Yeah, it's retirement.
Because it was their primary, and there's all rules around that I can help you with as well. But they have actually lived in it the required number of years to make it their primary and take that $450,000 tax-free. So now, at 58 and 64, they can take that $450,000, $500,000 and choose what they want to do with it and start to live their life, or have cash flow, have liquid cash instead of having it tied up in a house. Houses are not liquid, by the way, in case you all thought they were. They're not, depending on where we're at in the market. Now, last year, I could argue that houses were pretty liquid. I could put it on the market for you at the right price, and it would sell in a week, and it may even bid up. Guys, that is not where we're at. We are not there now. You've got to understand this. And you don't have to understand it if you're not selling or buying. It doesn't matter. You might want to understand it, but if you're, if you are in any of those categories, and there are many of them, we can't possibly cover them all in, just doing those scenarios. Really think about where you're at and what you want to do. And I am not going to push you through it. If my first option is hold the home for the price. Number one. What does that look like? And I'll ask you the right questions to look at, what does that mean? And then the second one is become a landlord. What does that mean? And I'll help you with that too. I'm not making any commission, by the way, out of one or two. The only way I make commission is when I help you sell it or help you buy a home. So it's not about the commission. It's about what's doing, what's the best way to do it right for you? Where are you at in your life, and what suits you best? And gosh, I have to keep the lights on. So I know that if I do the right thing for you, not only will you refer me and recommend me to other people, which happens all the time, I got a wonderful referral yesterday, then eventually when you have a real estate need, your trust is in me, that I can help you through all of this. I mean, I don't know, it makes sense to me. Maybe I'm crazy or something.
Makes total sense.
Right? So I'm very happy for them because they did decide to pull their money out. A lot of it is really what age you're at, how healthy you are, and how much use you're making of the home, and does it still fit for you? You know, if you're in a home right now, and we've talked about this one a lot, where you're in a home and you've lived in the mountains your whole life, and your kids have moved away, and you're expecting them to come back, and you're in that 5-bedroom home, or 4-bedroom home, one of the bedrooms down in the basement. You've still got the little boy wallpaper. Your little boy is 42 now and has children of his own, but the little horses on the
little trophies,
the little trophies, the wallpaper banner.
Yeah,
that wallpaper banner is still stuck. It's amazing.
Border up around. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck trying to take that down. They are not fun to take down. And if you know this, but wallpaper's coming back in. So you kept it, and it only took 40 years for wallpaper to become a trend again. The bad news is it's not the same kind of wallpaper.
It's a different.
Yeah, there aren't any banners.
You still got to get that down.
No banners, yeah. You can paint it. I can help you with that too. If you got the wallpaper, if you're just rolling your eyes right now and, going back into that procrastination pit and thinking, there's no way I'm like dealing with wallpaper and all this crud I've got in my house, I'm just going to stick it out. Then let me come and tell you at least what your house is worth. Oh my gosh. Oh, we have a great new valuation site too. allstarsellers.com. allstarsellers.com. All you do is you put your address in. This is not a Zestimate. This is not the old valuation tool. It looks at 17 different factors and you get to alter it. It's really cool. So it asks you, is the square footage correct? Often you'll do these online things and the square footage isn't correct. Maybe you've added a bonus room. Maybe you've finished out the basement and you've added some square footage. And they're not correct, so you can actually change it on ours. Not only that, it says what condition is your kitchen in. And you can put excellent condition, average condition. That changes the price. And it asks you what rooms you've got, what conditions are the bathrooms. And it's a slider bar. It'll only take you about 3 minutes. You just slide the bars up and down. It's really quite fun. allstarsellers.com. Go find out the value of your house. And, that will give you an idea. And I am more than happy to pin the scenarios for you based on your 3 choices. Your 3 choices are, number 1, hold it. Stick it out for 7 to 11 years. Use 10 years. We just had the holidays. Think about the holiday table. Who was around your holiday table this year? Therefore, your holiday table in 10 years, does the house you're in still work for you? Or would it be better to grab that equity? You know what the biggest objection is, Randy, that I hear?
What's that?
Where will we go? We can't find anything. There's not much on the market.
I guess you do hear that a lot.
All the time. There's this great thing called seller possession after closing. I got 5 months in my house. We are continually getting easily 90 days after closing. The great thing about that as a seller, you get to put money in your pocket, which is really cool. So you close. In other words, your buyers buy your house. All your stuff is still in it. And, of course, you've been cleaning it out and going through all that hard stuff. In the 6 weeks it takes to, once you go into contract, it takes 6 weeks usually. And it's going to take us, depending on where your house is, what price point it is. If you've got a house over $1 million and it's a little bit further out, it's going to take months at this point. It could easily take 6, 8, 10 months. It's normal.
To close?
No, just to even get a contract.
Ah.
Yeah. Everything changes when we go into this market. Certified pre-owned becomes very important. Getting the inspection, offering the home warranty, maybe or maybe not doing an appraisal, it all becomes much more important because as a seller you have a lot more competition. mountainhomehunt.com, mountainhomehunt.com. Click on contact. You just put your questions in there. If you want us to do a valuation, come out and see your house, make some comments about what you need to do, what you don't need to do. be more than happy to do that. If you'd rather call, 828-333-4483. 828-333-4483. What do we do differently when we're selling your house? Well, of course, we have a radio show that we've had for 11 years, which gives you some great exposure. We have followers all around the country. Not only can you listen live anywhere in the country or anywhere in the universe, actually, through iHeart, and of course, it's broadcast locally. It's also podcast. Thank you, Randy, helped me with that. So it's been podcast for a couple of years now. We get lots and lots of downloads every show. You can go back through shows to look for different subjects there. RealEstateNewsRadio.com. RealEstateNewsRadio.com. You can listen to those old shows. So, the show is very powerful in terms of marketing your home. I don't even talk about what I call givens. I wrote a best-selling book, and there are 12 programs in there about home selling. The way I came up with those programs is because when I got into real estate in 2006, you may remember 2007 was the last crash that we had, or the last peak. Then I couldn't understand how strange real estate was. Over a third of the deals fall out. I teach this around the country, so these figures come from teaching it to thousands of agents, that over a third of deals fall out. You cannot afford for your contract to fall out now. Last year, no problem. You had 3 backup contracts because the market was really hot. You cannot afford for it to fall out. You can't guarantee it won't fall out, but certify pre-owning it, i.e. doing the inspection first. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to do anything. It's a program from our best-selling book. CPOexperts.com if you're interested in that one. I run it around the country. 300 zip codes now covered with CPO experts. So if you're somewhere else in the country and thinking about selling, go look for your CPO expert, CPOexperts.com. That's one of the programs. We have the listing storyboard. We have the walking tour video, where there's me walking around saying, take a look at this beautiful open plan living room, toast your toes by the fire, really bringing your home to life so that people who are in New York, who are in Florida, who are in Texas, can actually take a tour of your home from their armchair in New York. And, of course, they're still going to fly down and take a look at your home. It's not that, but it makes it much, much more accessible. We've got thousands of them on YouTube, lots of followers on there. And, of course, we do all what I call the givens. So when I was teaching this, I'd say, what is your unique value proposition, agents? And they'd say, I negotiate better. Okay, you'd expect that. That's what I call a given, because you'd expect of any professional. I do professional photos. Yep, any professional agent does that. I sell a lot of homes. Well, if you're dealing with somebody who's going to sell your house, I sure hope they do. That would be one of the questions. You probably don't want to use your sister-in-law that got her license last month. Just saying. Sister-in-law can get a lot of experience and then, be really great at selling houses, but especially when it's in the family, that can bring in all kinds of just difficult conversations when it's a family member and they don't have a lot of experience. And, especially in a declining market, maybe that was okay a year ago when there were 3 bids coming in, but you need somebody who knows what they're doing that can keep you safe throughout that. So walking tour video, our radio show, we've got a best-selling book with 13 programs in it. We have the Love It or Leave It guarantee. So the Love It or Leave It guarantee is when somebody purchases a home. In fact, we're helping somebody with that right now, let me go to that one for a second. I made some notes actually on there. So that one's kind of fun because John is in his late 50s and he met the love of his life a year ago. And I guess because he's in his late 50s, when you've been, what am I talking about? People in their 20s marry after a month. But they've been dating for a year now and they're ready to combine their households. So because he bought it with us 3 years ago, he's able to benefit from Love It or Leave It for 6 months. And why is this important to you if you're selling? Because many of your buyers are coming in from New York. They're coming in from Florida. They're coming in from somewhere else. When they're coming in from somewhere else, they may not have heard of Weaverville. They may have just heard of Asheville. So when they've, you used to be able to get a little bit more for your money in Weaverville, maybe a little bit more now. So when they find that beautiful house in Weaverville, they're like, where's that? Where's Weaverville? Where's Burnsville? Where's Waynesville? Where's Maggie Valley? Where's Arden? Well, we have a love it or leave it guarantee, which means we will sell it free on the seller side for 6 months, which saves them a lot of money. Now, does anybody want to buy a house and sell it? That's crazy, right? It's not about that. It's about the peace of mind that it gives you moving from somewhere else. Should the worst case scenario happen, you're like, Arden's for the birds, then you can sell it for free.
Yeah.
But the great thing is for John, because he bought it 3 years ago, our guarantee is for 10 years.
10 years?
10 years. We'll sell it at a discount for 10 years.
Wow.
So he's going to get together with Christine now, which is lovely. And, they're looking for something with 2 or 3 beds and space for an office because there's 2 of them now. And they both work from home. And they've still got plenty of years left. And, in their 50s. It's wonderful.
That is wonderful.
They've got 30, 40 years of life left.
Yeah. So
very happy for John there. But that's how we play out these programs. The programs came from people. I didn't just make these up they're not just, a marketing tactic or something. Love It or Leave It actually came from a guy who went back to Arizona because his father had a stroke actually. And he just bought with us. It was within 6 months. I think it was 3 months. And he wanted to go back to Arizona to take care of his father. And I thought, well, that's this isn't in my first year of real estate. I thought, that's terrible. He just bought with us, so we did the Love It or Leave It. He ended up saying, that's where that program was born. He ended up saying, I can't take your money.
From real life circumstances?
All of them, yeah.
All of them, yeah.
The memories video. We have a memories video, so...
That's genius.
We had, this lovely elderly couple in Weaverville, actually, in an old farmhouse. He was in a wheelchair. The house was it was hard for her. They were 80s. She had to push him in and out on the wheelchair. And she's 80 years old. And she said, it's really time for us to sell. And she was in tears talking about it. And I said, tell me about this house. And she said, well, Jimmy went through graduation out there and our daughter came down these stairs when she got married and just all these memories.
Yeah.
And that's where that was born. And I think that was 2008. And I said, you're not attached to the house, you're attached to the memories. So we walked around and we did a video capturing the memories. They weren't on, we actually put it together with all kinds of pictures and things for them as well. But we captured the house, which is a great thing for your grandkids who, you may not even have those grandkids yet, who never see that house that your kids grew up in, their parents
grew up in, yeah.
And the tree with the swing where, you used to drop. I had a tree with a swing where I'd drop into the ditch.
Swing, yeah.
Yeah, mine was just a bit of wood or something that I sat on. But all those little things that you describe are how great to have pictures or video of them. Yeah. And of course, it's so easy to do that now. So we have a memories video. We'll capture those memories for you so you can take it with you because that's what you're attached to.
Yes.
And that's why the stuff and things are so hard.
Stuff and things.
And the stuff and things are not the memories. The memories are in your heart. The memories are in your head. All those stuff and things. So I hope that helped today, guys. Don't forget, we have Homes for Heroes, police, fire, teachers, healthcare professionals. Veterans get a big check back, $3,500. 828-333-4483. Don't forget, mountainhomehunt.com. Click on Contact Us. Rowena Patton, All-Star Powerhouse, brokered by EXP. We'll see you on the radio next week.
This has been the Plain English Real Estate Show with Rowena Patton. Visit Rowena and post your questions at radioasheville.com or call her at 828-210-1648.